Well, in the latest briefing from the Pentagon, U.S. military officials addressing the latest casualties of Operation Epic Fury. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Dan Kane, acknowledging the 4 U.S. airmen killed in Iraq after their refueling aircraft crashed during routine support operations. Today, Kane and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth also providing an update on progress and planned strikes.
Today will be our heaviest day of kinetic fires across the operating area. CENTCOM continues to attack ballistic missile and drone capabilities so that they are no longer a threat to U.S. forces, our bases, or our partners.
Desperate and hiding, they've gone underground. We know the new so-called not-so-supreme leader is wounded and likely disfigured.
Well, this update coming after Iran's new supreme leader releasing his first message on Iranian state media. He threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping lane, though right now some ships are still passing through amid the fighting. Meanwhile, a pair of attacks hundreds of miles apart are rattling communities, shaking Americans' sense of security. A deadly shooting in Virginia is being investigated as terrorism. Meanwhile, an explosive-filled vehicle rammed into a synagogue in Michigan in what is now being described by the FBI as a targeted act of violence against the Jewish community. Lee Waldman brings us the latest on both of these attacks.
As snow falls on Temple Israel in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan, officials are sending a clear message.
This is not a political moment. This is not a political debate. This is targeting babies who are Jewish. That's anti-Semitism at its absolute worst.
The Department of Homeland Security identified the suspect as 41-year-old Ayman Mohammed Ghazali, who was born in Lebanon and became a U.S. citizen in 2016. Officials say he drove his vehicle filled with explosives into the synagogue with a rifle. Ghazali died at the scene. At the time, more than 100 children aged 5 and younger were attending school at the synagogue, according to Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
We must lower the rhetoric in this state and in this country, especially at this moment where we've seen such a rise in anti-Semitism and more attacks on the Jewish community.
At least 30 law enforcement officers were taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation, authorities said, and a security guard who helped stop the attack was hit by the suspect's vehicle and is expected to be okay. Meanwhile, in Virginia, authorities say 2 Old Dominion University students were hurt and 1 person was killed when a former Virginia National Guardsman and convicted ISIS supporter began shooting on campus.
The brave ROTC members in that room subdued him. And if not for them, I'm not sure, what else he may have done.
The gunman, who was identified by the FBI as 36-year-old Mohammed Baylor Jallo, was killed at the scene. I'm Lee Waldman reporting.
All right, it is spring break time. We are taking a live look outside, and despite a little cold snap, this looks like an absolutely pristine view of Pensacola Beach. Oh my gosh, so beautiful today. We want to check on that forecast with our chief meteorologist, Jason Smith. And, we've had a lot of ups and downs with the forecast, and it seems like we're going to go through another one over the weekend or more into next week even.
Right. March is this way.
Yeah.
It can warm up, then we have storms, and it can get really cold. And we kind of got lulled into thinking, we're going to have an early spring. But, we saw that, and the whole thing's going to repeat itself here.
Well, new now at 4, the state's general fund budget and education trust fund are making significant progress in the legislature. Lawmakers have to pass both budgets each session. They're only yearly requirements. Alabama political correspondent Jessica Umbro has more from Montgomery on what lawmakers are focused on this year when it comes to the general fund. All right, Jessica, thank you. The general fund and education trust fund are supplemented by billions in yearly federal funding. All right, Jason, another important update. Traffic is a little bit of a mess out there. It is Friday after all. Well, a Mobile man has helped bring new life to a forgotten park while giving kids the chance to learn the game of baseball. Miller Park opened in the late 90s. For more than a decade, it sat empty and forgotten until William Ray stepped in and worked with the city of Mobile to give the park a second chance. Ray started the Miller Park Astros youth baseball team and won the 6U championship last year. Calls started pouring in from parents after last season, and now a team of about a dozen kids has grown to almost 200.
I just think a lot of parents seeing our work ethic with these kids, and we build confidence and leadership in our boys. It's more than sports with us. We want all our players to leave here and become leaders, and we develop them in the game. We let them have fun. At the end of the day, the win is always going to come, but we want them to have fun.
Well, coming up on Fox News at 5, you're going to hear more from Ray about why he wanted to revive the park. You'll also hear from some of the players about what they're most excited for. Well, it's a big day in Fairhope as the annual Baldwin County Special Olympics celebration took place this morning, and it was full of competition, celebration, and of course, inspiration. Fox 10's Stephen Moody has more from WC Majors Field.
All of Baldwin County's best were represented here Friday as they celebrated the 2026 Baldwin County Special Olympics. It started with a parade of athletes and the torch run, and it helped to highlight these athletes and to celebrate their accomplishments.
Well, we probably have about 425 athletes. We have scheduled them for about 1,000 events. It is 300 volunteers. So this is just a big day for students with disabilities in Baldwin County because it is their day.
And it's a day that everybody, including the athletes, looks forward to.
Oh, I'm really excited about this special event. Oh, it was really exciting, and everyone at school were cheering for me like I told you.
It's probably right up there with the state championship or even better than that because these parents, they love this day. The community loves to give, and it's part of their day too. So this is just all about these students and all their success that they have.
And on a day like today, smiles could be seen all around.
All the efforts and the hard work and all the hours, it's all worth it. It's absolutely worth it. And to see the parents, everybody's happy, everybody's excited. It's a beautiful day. You just can't ask for more in Baldwin County.
Stephen Moody, Fox 10 News.
She summed it up perfectly. Well, still ahead from us here on Fox News at 4, the hustle culture of today may have you juggling multiple tasks at once. But is it actually possible? We're taking a look at a new study. All right, from navigating breakups to dealing with rejection, more people are turning to AI to help them with tough talks. Researchers call it social offloading and warn those instant replies could have long-term effects. Researchers that study human and AI interaction at MIT's Media Lab say they're seeing more people turn to AI for answers, but this habit could be stunting emotional growth, especially among younger users, says Dr. Michael Robb, who's head of the nonprofit Common Sense Media.
Young people are supposed to be learning the kind of uncomfortable, nuanced skills of human relationships. And that's things like, how to navigate a disagreement. It's how to read other people's perspectives, things like managing rejection.
Oftentimes, he says AI is designed to be agreeable and may not always be accurate. You've heard it before. It may just tell you what you want to hear, kind of thing. And while AI can be helpful, experts recommend parents and educators just communicate with their teens about responsible use. Okay, you heard it here. Cold snap once again. A pair of fascinating time-traveling discoveries, each that started as one thing and became another down through the ages. Jeremy Roth explains in today's Take a Look at This.
Take a look at a 2,000-year-old coin experts say traveled through time, starting as an ancient civilization's currency and ending as bus fare. The coin was recently donated to a British museum by a man who says his grandfather, a transit employee, gave it to him in the 1950s after someone used the rare piece to pay for a bus ride. According to the Leeds Discovery Center, the coin's origins date back millennia to 1 BC, where they say it was produced by the Carthaginians, an ancient civilization on the Spanish coast. Realizing its age and significance, the man donated his grandfather's gift, which will now be studied and displayed at the museum, which houses currency from cultures around the world spanning thousands of years of history. Yet another historic relic that was hidden in plain sight is this seemingly innocuous stone found in an Eastern European backyard that archaeologists say was once a mold for ancient weaponry. According to a recently published study by Archaeological Views, the stone, a volcanic rock found used in an old barn wall in the Czech Republic, dates back to the Bronze Age, around 1350 BC, where experts say it was likely used to make molded weapons like spearheads. Using X-ray technology, researchers were able to trace the stone's origins at a microscopic level and even made 3D renderings showing what weapons it was used to craft might have looked like. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
When we come back, the Oscars are Sunday, and the video game world has the movies on their mind. We've got those details for you next. Welcome back. Taylor Swift is now a billionaire times 2. According to Forbes, the showgirl is now worth an estimated $2 billion, and that includes nearly $800 million earned from royalties and touring. A music catalog worth around $600 million and more than $100 million in properties throughout the U.S. Swift is the first musician to reach the billionaire milestone through her musical talents versus outside projects. Pretty impressive. It's all about the Oscars this weekend. Even video gamers have movies on their minds. Rick Damagello reports.
Hey movie buffs, ready to step into the spotlight and become the ultimate Hollywood boss?
Ever thought you should be in charge of decision making at a Hollywood film studio? Among the numerous games available that let you try your hand at movie mogulhood is the Executive Movie Industry Tycoon. The studio simulator is available for PC via Steam.
Underneath the moon so bright, you and I, we dance tonight.
But what if you really want to do is direct? There is, or rather will be, Hollywood Director the Simulation. The game isn't playable yet, but its listing on Steam says it will let players create familiar filmmaking aspects in its gameplay. And if you've ever dreamed of running your own movie theater, there is Ultimate Theater Simulator. The first-person cinema sim puts players in charge of growing their movie house into a successful business. Leveling up in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
Next up, we're going to take a look at the stories we'll have for you on Fox 10 News at 5, and also this. Welcome into Fox 10 News at 4. If you're just now joining us from the streaming services, we are here now as there are sports on our channel. We want to talk about some stories we are working on for you for Fox 10 News at 5. First, a Pritchard police officer remains behind bars this afternoon after being indicted on charges stating he received stolen firearms. Where the charges stem from and what's next in the case coming up. And in Baldwin County, a safe haven box is now opening in Foley. How the new addition will help parents who are in crisis. And as the community gears up for prom season, one group is empowering students by giving them prom transformations regardless of their background. We've got those stories and more when Fox 10 News at 5 starts in just less than half an hour from right now. All right, Jason, we will see you then. Well, federal law changes may create tax return delays for some states. Tax refunds are issued by the IRS. However, state revenue agencies give out refunds based on their own policies. The enactment of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act extends lower tax rates while creating new deductions that the IRS and Treasury Department have to handle. Taxpayers in New York, Idaho, Oregon, South Carolina, and the District of Columbia may face tax refund delays for other reasons too. In New York, there are tax processing delays due to software updates. For Idaho taxpayers, their budget office said tax refunds may be delayed up to 6 weeks for several things. Meanwhile, in Oregon, their Department of Revenue encourages taxpayers to file electronically to avoid delays. South Carolina may face tax refund delays as its legislature did not update its state-level provisions to account for the OBBA. And in the District of Columbia, Congress overturned a D.C. tax law creating possibility for refund delays. Well, data breaches can hit without warning, leaving consumers scrambling to protect their identity and their credit. In today's Watching Your Wallet, consumer investigator Carice Jackman sits down with ID theft experts to talk about what you need to do to fix your credit after a data breach.
A data breach doesn't always mean your identity has been stolen, but it can increase the risk. Experts say it's a reason to pay attention to your accounts and credit. That's why James Lee, president of the Identity Theft Resource Center, says many people don't realize something is wrong until damage is already done.
A lot of times they don't really know that it's happened. They don't really know why. Where it becomes heartbreaking is it gets used to impersonate someone for their unemployment benefits, their housing benefits, their food assistance benefits, things that they need to live. Now somebody else has taken them away from them because of data that was stolen that they didn't even know was exposed.
So what should you do after a data breach? Lee says first, monitor your credit and look for unusual purchases, whether it's $5 or $500.
When you're seeing a credit account that you didn't know you had, when you're seeing charges that you did not make, then it's time to start notifying other people.
If you see something you don't recognize, Lee says one key step is to contact the credit bureaus and dispute errors. And he says don't wait around if something feels off. Move quickly to limit any further damage. Be careful about who you're actually talking to, especially if you're getting calls, emails, or texts claiming to help.
Because a lot of times if you include scam in the search term, it will tell you this is a scam phone number, this is a scam website, don't fall for this.
And if you're overwhelmed, Lee says don't try to do it alone.
There's always going to be somebody who can help you, whether it's at the ITRC or a family member or some other organization, and you can get through this. You can do it.
With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Carice Jackman.
Oysters and clams sold in 9 states are being recalled for potential contamination. The FDA announcing certain raw oysters harvested by Drayton Harbor Oyster Company and Manila clams by Lumi Indian Business Council could contain norovirus. The potentially affected products were harvested between February 13th and March 3rd this year, and they were distributed to retailers and restaurants in 9 states, including Florida, New York, and California. The department urges retailers not to sell or serve the potentially contaminated shellfish and advises consumers against consumption. The most common symptoms of norovirus include diarrhea, vomiting, nausea, and stomach pain. The Mobile Kidney Walk and Celebration is tomorrow morning at UMS Wright. Registration starts at 8. Every dollar raised stays local, helping roughly 1,500 patients in Mobile and Baldwin counties. Mr. Underwood is not far from reaching his $2,500 goal to go to the Alabama Kidney Foundation. If you'd like to donate to his team or want to sign up to the walk, we have the link inside this story posted on fox10tv.com. We've now got an alert for parents. New federal safety regulations are in effect for a popular toy found in many homes and schools. If ingested, they pose a huge danger, sending thousands of children to the hospital. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on the new safety standard and what manufacturers now must do.
They're colorful, fun to touch, and highly attractive to young hands. But if swallowed, water beads can quickly turn dangerous.
Once they expand up, they can kind of look like a jelly bean or other round candy. And kids have sweet tooths. They love candy.
Dr. Manisha Agarwal with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says once ingested, water beads can cause blockages within the body. They can also lead to choking and other internal injuries. Around 6,300 water bead related ingestion injuries were treated in U.S. emergency rooms between 2017 to 2022. There was also 1 death reported, a 10-month-old girl in 2023.
Young children explore the world with their mouth. That is normal and developmentally appropriate.
On Thursday, new federal safety regulations from the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission went into effect. They're aimed at protecting children by setting a maximum expansion size for water bead toys to prevent them from becoming large enough to be dangerous if ingested. The new rules also put limits on the amount of a possible carcinogen often found in the products, and there must now be visible warning labels to caution consumers. Officials say many of the water beads come from overseas.
This new safety standard is going to give our port inspectors additional tools to interdict dangerous products before they can reach the American mainland.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
All right, Jason, thank you. Well, research in California could lead to new insect repellents. Researchers at the University of California, Santa Barbara have identified a taste receptor mosquitoes use to detect fatty acids on human skin. The acids are naturally in skin oils. Researcher Craig Montel hopes the finding leads to alternatives to DEET. That's the active ingredient in many repellents.
So my hope over the next couple of years is that we're going to develop and release for people to use much better repellents that are safer than DEET, last longer, and then don't damage synthetic materials.
By understanding how insects taste humans, researchers hope to find a way to interrupt their process. All right, Jason, thank you. Students at Boston University are connecting with senior citizens thousands of miles away through a unique payphone called a boomer. Call a boomer, I should say, brings different generations together by picking up the receiver. Here's the story.
Among the hustle and bustle of Boston's ComEd, an atypical sight in 2026. A payphone, albeit with a purpose.
Oh, my flowers, please. Calling a boomer.
The directions painted in blue are that simple.
Phone, you'll automatically be connected to another payphone at a senior living complex in Reno, Nevada.
Kira here got through to voicemail.
Today's better off for you today, too.
A message she hopes reaches someone who may need it.
I love it. I mean, I think younger people and older people, I would argue, need to talk to each other more in the same place, but across the country is a good place to start. We've all forgotten that there are lots of ways to stay in touch and break loneliness and isolation.
A few times the phone rang here.
This is Aaron Parsegian. I'm in Boston. I'm a reporter with CBS News Boston. And
just a couple strangers becoming more familiar 3,000 miles away.
And so tell me about yourself.
Among the callers, a woman who grew up in New Hampshire, excited to talk to someone back home after retiring to Reno.
And this is much more than a social experiment. It aims to get at something much deeper.
We wanted to connect our older people and younger people. And that's because they're two of the loneliest demographics.
Matter Neuroscience is the company behind the project, part of their overall goal to boost happiness and build connections.
We're often in our little bubbles, and we have a lot to learn from each other, despite our differences.
So they opened dialogue with the revamped payphone in Boston and the one it reaches in Reno, where boomers are encouraged to call Zoomers.
We just want people to leave the phone conversation with a feeling of happiness and the connection is possible in this polarized world.
And for many, just a simple connection can make a big difference.
Well, Matter Neuroscience says the phones will be up for at least a month. Highlights of the convos to be posted on the company's social media pages, so check it out. Texas and California have those phones too, with an AIM, or an AIM, I should say. AIM, that's old school. An aim to connect people with different political views. 4 so-called old broads are bringing people back together, one joke, one hug, one piece of free advice at a time. Hugh Keaton introduces us to the group providing friendship and community and say it's the best medicine.
In the courtroom today. And Shelby, what else are you learning?
Well, Cameron, there is now a small memorial growing outside of the Chalk family home. You're taking a look at it behind me. A photo of the family together, stuffed animals, flowers, and a balloon. A community remembering a mother and her 2 children. Hector Argueta was in court for the first time on the new capital murder charges, accused of killing Aurelia Chalk, her 17-year-old daughter Norica, and 2-year-old son Anthony. Investigators found their bodies Wednesday evening in a wooded area off of Downing Road that's east of Somerdale. They say Argueta has ties to a nearby home, and that tipped investigators off to search near it. Court documents reveal all 3 of the victims were killed with a sharp-edged weapon. But Mobile County District Attorney Keith Blackwood did not go into detail as to exactly what the weapon was today. Blackwood says the preliminary autopsy results, though, are, in his words, horrific.
I did receive a message while I was in court that explained some of the results, but until I see the preliminary report, I don't want to share. I will share that the findings are gruesome. The findings are horrific. This family did not deserve to be killed in this way.
Asked the judge to drop the 3 original charges of kidnapping against Argueta, saying the capital murder counts cover that and more. Argueta also faces 3 counts of abuse of a corpse and obstruction of justice. All of these were read to him today in court and spoken to him through a translator who speaks Spanish. DA Blackwood says the state is going to seek the death penalty. Argueta's next court appearance, a preliminary hearing, is set for April 6th. His attorney says they plan to plead not guilty to all charges. In the studio tonight, Shelby Myers, Fox 10 News.